I found some of the most successful, whether it be a single video or a creator or just people who people resonate with a lot. They share their experience and things that have sort of helped them through the experience or just the experience as they're going through it, whether it's, the process of becoming a, professional athlete, just like documenting it as they go, that idea of documenting over creating, or just like sharing their journey as they go, or things they've been through that have helped them overcome certain things, just sharing those things. Like that's always been sort of my reason for getting into content was, I don't suffer as much as I used to. I've learned a lot of things along the way. Why don't I start sharing some of these things? And, if other people resonate with it, cool, but might as well just start sharing it because I figure other people will probably resonate with it because we're not so different as human beings. So it's very, very interesting. And like some of the videos I enjoy the most are just people being open about what they're going through and authentic and sharing things that have helped them is what it really comes down to at the end of the day. So I think your videos have shown that quite a bit, that it's just really sharing for the sake of sharing things. And it's clear that it's things that have resonated with you. And I think that's all it comes down to for the most part. And so another point that I saw in one of your videos was the idea of change happening now. And when you are able to take responsibility for the situation that you're going through, that's when change starts to happen and ripples
Mhm.
are begun to be made. So you just mentioned how 2.5 years ago, you're in a much different situation than you were right now. I would love to hear more about that process of going from, 2 years ago to where you're at now and how those shifts began to happen. It sounded like you knew sort of that, like, you're not going to be in this place in 2 years. Like, was that a day-to-day thing? I'm guessing there were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of turbulence going through being where you were to where you're at now. I find that a lot of people, their mentality shifts long before the physical sort of repercussions or resonations
Yeah.
sort of make that shift. So I'd love to just hear more about that process and those initial mental shifts that sort of led to the shifting of your reality, but all of it, happening in the moment through taking responsibility for the situation that you're in.
No, yeah. So what I call it now is a radical accountability. Now, during this time, I had no idea. Like the cool part is like now I can label it and call it things. Back then, had no idea I was doing it. I just knew I was doing something different than what I was already doing because, the definition of insanity is you do the same thing all the time, and expect different results. So I was like, I'm not insane. So I'm just going to do something different because that's going to give me a different experience. And that pretty much opened it up to, well, if I'm doing this, then that's on me. And as I began to cultivate that more and more, I realized how much control I actually had over situations when I focused that in on myself.